Hello guys, welcome back to Pause and welcome to another Planet Zoo Spotlight video. So it's been a couple of weeks since we've done the last one of these, so there is a lot to talk about today, including a load of new screenshots and also a deep dive into the weather system through a journal that was released a week or so back. So we've got all that to delve into today. So let's first of all check out the new screenshots that have been released over the last couple of weeks. So the first one we're going to have a look at is this brand new shot of the train station. There's not that much new stuff in here to see, just a couple of bits I'll point out. So obviously the architecture of the building itself, we've seen this from various different shots around, but it's nice to see a close-up view here. We can also see a new staff member down there, which I don't think we've seen yet. So we've got like the little janitor dude, who's just brushing up some rubbish, and then generally just new little bits and pieces that we've seen, like new lampposts, new flowers and that kind of stuff. But all in all, a very, very nice looking station building for what's going to hopefully be some amazing transport rides around our zoos. Next up, we'll have a little look at a brand new screenshot of the elephants. Not much really to show on this one, it's just interacting with the water a little bit more. But what this does show is the rain now in the picture. As you can see, it bouncing off the surfaces and also again interacting with the water itself. And we'll talk more about the weather and the rain and stuff towards the end of this video when we go into weather a bit more specifically. But it's good to see water interacting with the animals and the terrain. The next thing, which was released a couple of days ago and was announced, is the Bengal Tiger. Which was announced on World Tiger Day, the end of last month, I believe. So we've got this first screenshot just here, and there's also a second screenshot that was released as well. It's just showing it from a slightly different angle. Really, really good, this one. It looks really nice. And again, it's one of those staples in the zoo that we thought we were going to get. So it's nice to finally get it confirmed. And the next new screenshot, which was released just a couple of days ago, is talking about and having a little closer look at some of the education aspects that are going to be in this game, and looking at specifically the screens, which will give information to the guests around the different enclosures. Conservation, education, and that sort of thing is going to play a massive part in Planet Zoo, and this kind of screen and get talks from keepers. And that sort of stuff is really, really going to help bring up your education and information levels as we play through this game. So really good to see these in action. I believe from the last couple of developer journals and things and stuff that's been said by the developers, these screens are mainly going to sort of populate themselves based on where they are put. So if they are near an enclosure, the screen will know what's in that enclosure and will sort of show footage dependent on that. Whether they can be customised and all that kind of stuff is still yet to be seen. I assume you will be able to, but yeah, one of the base game features is that they kind of just populate themselves, which is quite a neat feature. Okay, so the last thing we need to talk about today is weather. So there was a developer's journal posted on, I believe it was Tuesday, so only a few days ago. And this one is specifically talking about weather. So I've made some notes, and I've basically got some little sort of bullet point bits from this developer journal. However, if you would like to read the whole thing, I will leave a link to it in the description today on the view it on the official Frontier forums. But I'll just sort of sum up the main bits and pieces that I've took away from this. So what they've said is weather was very important for them to obviously put it into Planet Zoo, not just for this kind of beauty and liveliness that it adds to a zoo, but also to keep it to enhance those interesting animal behaviours that are going to come out from various different weathers. So we've talked about things before about animals seeking shelter. Also, certain animals might dive into water in hot weather to cool off, which is something new which we've not really seen yet. But basically, the different weather systems that they're going to have in the game, the general idea is that there's going to be very realistic changes from one another. So it's not just going to go from sunny at 1 second to start snowing, then to rain. It's going to be quite a realistic transition. So they've said that it could potentially go from a sunny day to cloudy for a short time. Then it's going to go to maybe a light or a heavy rain type situation, but it's never going to just jump straight from sunny to rain. You'll always get that period of cloud before it does change. There is obviously snow. We've seen that in a few screenshots. And then a wide range of temperatures, they've said, so varying temperatures depending on everything, the other factors that's obviously going to change on the different weather systems. So not only is it the animals that will interact with the weather, the guests will as well. So they have said that guests will shiver in cold temperatures, and there will be visible sweat on guests in sort of heat. And also, obviously, if you sell umbrellas in the parks, the guests will buy those to sort of get away from the rain. So thinking about the animals and the shelter they've got, also bringing in the guests and thinking about what cover we're going to add around the areas. Are there going to be any indoor places that can get out of the way of the heat and the rain? So there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to be thinking about, and a lot of new mechanics that are added into this game, and weather plays a big part in that. The other thing as well we've just touched on is managing temperatures inside the habitats. They've said how crucial this is going to be, as certain animals, species will only sort of thrive in the correct temperatures. So a couple of ways which we're going to be able to do that is through some items that we can actually put in the enclosures themselves. So they have said they are going to have coolers and heaters, which are going to be items you can put in enclosures. These will help to either heat or cool down a small radius around the item, which should help in certain enclosures. I mean, we're not going to have to use these in all of them, but certain animals will probably require these. But what they've also mentioned, and this is again goes on to the level of sort of detail and immersion they're going with this game, these coolers and heaters will also interact with the terrain and with the actual weather systems. So for example, with snow, if you've got a heater in an enclosure, the heater will actually melt the snow around that heater. So obviously that is quite a good little function, making it quite realistic. As well as that, if you've got a cooler in an area, it will help. If the ground is cooler around an area, then snow will settle in that area quicker. So either way, you've got a little bit of interaction there with the weather system. So I think that's really, really good sort of level of detail they've added in there. But again, as we've seen all the way through this, every time new screenshots, videos, all that kind of stuff is released, we can see straight away the level of immersion and detail that they've actually gone with in this game. It's going to be above anything else we've ever seen, I think. And as always, I'm very excited to get our teeth into this and start playing it. So as of right now, we still don't have any kind of information on the beta dates. However, very soon, over the next couple of weeks, at the next couple of gaming expos and stuff, there will be a lot more information announced, and we should have that beta date within, hopefully, before the end of the month. And I think it's probably going to be September, if I'm being honest. I think we'll get the beta next month in September. But more on that when we get it. But that's just a very quick little summary of the new screenshots that we've had over the last couple of weeks, and also the big deep dive there into weather, which is just even more exciting. So as always, guys, make sure you stay here on Pause Games for the latest news and updates from Planet Zoo. And as always, we will get the content out there as soon as we can. I know we've been a little bit behind recently, but I'm working on it. But yeah, stay with us here on Pause Games, and we'll get all the latest news up. And as soon as we get all that information about the beta, that'll be up here as well. And obviously, when the game is released, there'll be a plethora of content coming out from this game. So do stay here, make sure you subscribe and like this video if you've enjoyed it. So thank you guys ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys, bye.